I'll go through what I have planned for today, which is the letting go and moving on masterclass. And then from there, if you have a question as we are going through or something that you would like to add on, please feel free to either use the icon where you can lift your hand, or you can just type it in the chats below. Feel free. I'll be stopping once in a while to ask any questions. If you have a question, please feel free to ask. Don't get out of here without a question. It might not even be about this masterclass. Whichever question you have that you feel might apply to me or something that I can help you with, please feel free to type it or ask me about it. Yeah. And with that, let me officially welcome you to the masterclass. It is such an honor to have all of you here, and I'm going to share my screen with you. Please let me know if you can all see my screen. Anyone who can tell me if they can see my screen, just or thumbs up, please, in the chat. Thumbs up if you can see my screen. Okay. Yes, I can. Thank you, Lois. Thank you, everyone. All right. So, welcome to the Letting Go and Moving On Masterclass. My name is Jacinta Wangeshi. I know you have either seen me from somewhere. This is why you're here with me this evening. And I will talk a bit about myself or why I'm even qualified to have this conversation with you. And please mute yourself if you're, I can hear some background noise. I'm going to mute. Who is talking? Please, I need you to mute yourself. Okay, thank you. My name is Jacinta Wangeshi. I am a mom of 3 very wonderful kids. I am a toxic relationship survivor as well as a toxic relationship coach. I am the person who helps you to exit. I know we have so many relationship coaches. We have the coaches who help you to stay and say that you can make a marriage work or a relationship work, which is very true. But let us come to the agreement that not all relationships can actually be salvaged, and not every relationship actually deserves to be salvaged. Why? Because either they're not serving you, either they're toxic. Sometimes I will not say that you overgrow, but in a certain time, it is either you're growing together or you're growing apart in a relationship. So if you ever come to a point in your life where you feel like you're growing apart, where you feel like this person is only concentrating about themselves and the dreams and visions that you have are only yours and you're only concentrating them, you're only the only person who is working on them, or this other person is even hindering you from getting to that point, that is when the relationship now starts to fall apart and it starts to become toxic. Why? Because there are differences. And if you've been following me or you have ever come to any of my other masterclasses, I have talked about the differences between healthy and unhealthy relationships. For example, let me just recap on that. A healthy relationship will make you thrive, will make you grow. It's where you feel appreciated, heard, and you do not feel ignored. You're not abused. The opposite is for the toxic ones. It's normally, even before you go into the signs, it's normally about how this person makes you feel. And this is something that you were never taught. You were never taught about us, that you can come first, that it has to be about us before it's about anybody else, including the children, including your friends, including your family. Some of us are in relationships simply because of our children. But I usually say, imagine you even live up to 80 or your child lives up to 80 years. How long do they have with you? They're only with you for a maximum of maybe 20 years of their life. The 60 years, that is a quarter of their life. The 60 years they're spending without you. So if you're in that relationship with the kids, what happens after they are gone? What happens? I'm a mother for how long? For me, started being a mother when I was 20. My firstborn right now is around 13. She's with me maybe for the next 5 or even maybe let's say even 10 years. So what do I do for the next from 43? And maybe I might pass on when I'm 80. It means that I'll be lost, I'll be purposeless. And that is why most women, this is why I feel it's important for you to know, it doesn't matter where you are in life. The most people that come to me for coaching are women who are from 50 and above. Why? Because that is when kids have left the homes. That is when you feel like, I should not have been here. I should not been doing this. And some other thing is that, especially if you're a mom, it affects your kids. It affects your kid because you're in a burning house and you're expecting that the fumes are not going to get to them. They might not be burning, but you're in a burning house. That is what a toxic relationship dynamic is like in that kind of setup. Let me not even digress from the main point. So why do I qualify to talk about this topic? I qualify to talk about this topic because I was in a toxic relationship, like I have said. I have survived out of it with 3 kids. I walked out of it. I know it is hard. It is very hard. Let us just be honest. It is very hard to walk out of a toxic relationship or even any relationship. But the truth is, it is doable. And I am here as a living proof of it's doable. I left the relationship that I was in back in 2022. Yes, early 2022 there. Yeah. And I have moved on. I have gotten into another relationship, and not just a relationship, but a marriage. I'm married to one man. Oh, this is what we are taught to say. I'm married to one man who, let me just give the description. He's an amazing man. He doesn't have any kids. He's in his late 30s. And what is most important are the qualities for me. It was his commitment to me. It was his commitment towards my children, and him having all the values and qualities that I was looking for. Now I'm older, I'm wiser. Things that I never knew in my 20s, I now know them in my 30s. So this is why I can talk to you confidently about what I'll be talking about today. Yeah. And as I'm going on, please feel free to type any question, any comments. Feel free to type. Listen. Yeah. The slideshows. You see the slideshows, Brenda? They have asked for slideshows. Can you see them? I hope that you can. Anyone who cannot, but I have shared my screen, so I hope. Can everybody see my slides? Please comment, thumbs up if you can be able to see. Okay, thank you. So, thank you. I'll start with the very first thing that I wanted to talk about. Why is it so hard to live a relationship? Because this is something that I get asked a lot, nearly every single day. Jacinta, it's very hard to work out. How do I do this? And today I just want to talk about it because, like I've said, it is a person that you've spent, for me, spent 10 years with this person. How then do you wake up and decide that it's the norm to wake up without seeing them, and you are used to seeing them for all this time? First of all, what makes it so hard is the emotional attachment. Why? When you're emotionally attached to a person, and especially in a toxic relationship has highs and lows. And the highs are really high. You know, when things are good, they're really good. You feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. And when things are bad, they are the same way, really, really bad. You're like, most of the time, you know for a fact that I do not want to be here. But then something else keeps you thinking, I would want to relive the good times, because we do have good times. And toxic relationship doesn't mean that things are always bad, because they are not. We have the good parts and we have the bad parts. The only difference between the healthy and unhealthy is the frequency. I will talk about something called a cycle in a relationship, especially in a toxic relationship. It normally has 4 phases. And I remember when I learned about this cycle, it's normally a cycle of abuse. When I learned about this cycle of abuse, I could be able to pinpoint from Monday to Wednesday, I'm at this point, from Wednesday to Thursday, this point, Thursday to Friday, Saturday to Sunday, like I could tell it was a cycle. So what does that mean? It becomes very hard for you to be able to break it, because it's a cycle. It doesn't have an end. It keeps going on and on and on. And in this cycle, the first phase, like there's not even first phase, there are 4 phases. We can say one is the honeymoon phase. This is when things are so good. This person will mostly maybe just apologize. They will buy you flowers. They'll be calling you all the sweet names. at that particular time, you do know for a fact that this is where you're meant to be. And you'll be like, I think I can make it to 20 years with this person. If you are thinking, no, it's my 5th year and I cannot take it anymore, you may be looking at it basing on this point, the honeymoon phase, and you think this person is mine for life. Then you have another phase that comes before this honeymoon phase. It is the abusive phase. Like when this person is abusing you, either they were not at home, either they were neglecting you, either they were physically beating you up, whatever sort of abuse that would happen, it normally is there. And so when it comes to the honeymoon phase, that is when now they're coming to apologize. Oh, I did not mean it. Oh, you're the one who pushed me to do it. But you know for a fact that this is what happens all the time. He will do this and you can already tell this is what happens after that. Then there's another phase. After the honeymoon comes this phase where things just calm down. It's calm. It's a calm phase. Things are just moving on. You can tell that you already know, but you're happy. He's no longer love bombing you, like bringing you all the flowers. He's no longer lovey-dovey with you, but you're that phase where things are just calm for some days. And then there's another phase. In this 4th phase, things are so tense, like you can even cut the tension with a knife. You can feel like you're walking on eggshells. Something has happened, but you're so afraid to say it because you do know that if you say it, it's going to lead to the full-blown abuse. It's this phase where you're so scared. You cannot really tell what's going on, but you feel the tension. Things are not okay at that particular point, but it is not the abusive phase yet. So it's normally like a phase. And if you're here and you have experienced this, please type in the comments. Type in the comments, what are you going to type? Cycle. Have you ever been in that cycle? Do you know someone who is in that cycle? You say yes, but I think she means presentation mode. Okay, we are doing it in the slide mode, like where we go through one slide at a time. Have you ever been there? Yeah, Daisy, you say you have been there. It is normally a very crazy time in your life. You will feel like you do not. And this particular time for me, I felt like I did not know where I am in the relationship, because one moment you're very happy. It can even happen in a relationship. Yeah, cycle, yes. It happens. You cannot even sometimes in the morning you can be very happy. You're jovial. You're together. You have had a very nice time together. You go even somewhere, people are looking at you and they're thinking your goals. By that day, in the evening, you're beaten black and blue. It's normally a cycle. It can happen in a week. It can happen in an year. It can happen in a day. And like we have said, it is a cycle. It is really, really hard to break from. So the attachment, and also this comes in as something called a trauma bond. It is addictive. It is so addictive because during the bad times, you will do everything that you can to go back to the good times, or it keeps you longing to get back to the good times. That is what makes you stay longer. It makes you overstay because you're hoping he might change. He was a good man. Sometimes he's a good person. Maybe he's going to get back to being that good person. So you keep hoping and waiting and praying that this person is going to change. But let me just say this. Sometimes you cannot be able to work with what ifs, especially with another person. You cannot control how another person is going to behave. And this is something that I will even advise anyone who is going to get into a marriage, because the person moving on into a relationship, because everyone has got their own faults, you ask yourself, if nothing changed, if the odds never change, and this is even in dating, before you settle with a person, before you say I do, or you say I'm now committed to this person, look at him with the flaws and all, and ask yourself, if the odds remain as they are, if this person remains as they are, am I comfortable remaining with them as they are for the rest of my life? Because you cannot bet on them changing. And that is another thing that we get into a lot. We get into a relationship thinking that this person might change. If he has not changed the time that you're meeting them, probably they will never change. And that is their choice. That is their decision. It's not on you. Yeah. And then we have another thing is the fear of unknown. We all have, and it's not just you. Believe you me, if you're here, it's not just you who has the fear of the unknown. We all do. Even me, I was very, very scared. Like, what if this doesn't work? I have 3 kids. By then, my youngest daughter was around 3 months old. What do I do? What if the money that I've saved, and if you have that is in a masterclass that I did. If you would like, maybe you're in a relationship and you want to know how to get prepared to leave or exit a toxic relationship, those are some of the things that you consider, like your financial stability. So even no matter how prepared you are, you've even set aside some money. You think you have some money that can even last you if your job does not allow you. You will still be wondering, what if the money runs out? What if this person does this? What if this? But it's human nature for us to actually focus so much on the negative. But ask yourself, what if everything works out? If I knew 10 years ago that me leaving 2 years down the line, I would have walked down the aisle and found an amazing man in my life, I would not have been there from, I think, year 2. I would have walked out a very long time ago. Why? But because the fear of the unknown, and mostly another thing is how they tell us, these people and the society, it has created this narrative in our minds that, when you have 3 kids, when you have 1 kid, when you're at this age, you cannot find someone better. So, or you will find people who use you, or so we have so many fears, but success or even taking a risk is what will get you to see the other side. I see the charts that are coming in. Let me finish this slide and then I'm coming to the charts. It is whatever it is that you're looking for, whatever it is that you want, it's on the other side of the fear that you're feeling right now. So how about looking at it as, what if? Don't listen to the voice of the fear. Listen to, what if everything works out? What if you find the perfect man for you? What if you have all the finances that you have? And that is something else that I came to learn. It is the energy that you give out. It is, you wake up in the morning and ask yourself, you know very well you don't even have money. I have left the house knowing that I did not even know if I had money for gas. And I told myself, if I woke up this morning and I had like $1 million in my bank, what will I do today? I would go for a road trip. I will take my little savings, put the fuel in the car and take my road trip and go eat. And let me tell you, by the time I come in the evening, I don't know, one or the other, somehow the money will find a way to come back. It is the energy that you give. If you give out the energy of luck, then you're lucky. You will completely lack. I hear so many women say, but there are no good men out there. Then what makes you think that you'll find someone better if that is your way of thinking? There may not be good men out there for anybody else, but there will be a good man for you. Yeah. So it is the energy also that you give. Really focus on that. The other thing is your low self-esteem. Remember, a toxic relationship will make you doubt yourself. It will keep you from believing in yourself, especially it comes down to the very small things. Maybe this man came home and you know very well he's cheating, and then he tells you it is all in your head. Why are you thinking like that? Do you think I could do this? And you know very well, even and there's this notion, I don't know whether it applies to all men, that if you meet someone in the action, they will say it wasn't me. I thought it was you. This person, first of all, is gaslighting you. Secondly, they're abusing your intelligence. What are they telling you? You're really stupid. You do not see this. Like if someone is abusing you and you know very well that they're abusing you and you try and air it to them, but they tell you, no, it's always in your mind. Why are you always thinking like this? This slowly by slowly takes away your self-esteem. If you cannot believe in yourself when you say that this person is not good for you, already you will have a very huge problem trying to convince yourself that you need to leave this relationship. So this is where the inner work comes in. This is where you come with trying to address all these things and trying to rewire your brain. And there are various ways that you can rewire your brain, because some of these things you have picked them along the way. And it is not just through the relationships, it is even through our childhood. When a kid is born, like I say with my 3-year-old, she believes she can do everything. But that's a particular time, even you ask a kid, what do you want to be? They say pilot, they say surgeon, they say what. By the time they are 10, they start doubting themselves because the world has put all these images inside them and limitations. You tell your kid even says they want to be a YouTuber. What do you tell them? A YouTuber is not a job. So Even if they would have become a YouTuber, I usually watch this guy called Mr. Beast, and he's a huge YouTuber with millions and millions of money. I don't know if you know about him. So if your kid was supposed to be Mr. Beast, and then you tell him, no, you cannot be a YouTuber, they don't have money, and the kid turns out to taking this boring job somewhere and they're unhappy, that is their limitation. That is, it came right from you. And they trust you and they believe you and they trust their teachers and their friends and other people. So that is where things start falling apart. This is where the self-esteem slowly by slowly gets eroded. But all this can be reversed. You can reverse it through things that we call, there's very many things like subliminals. I don't know if you've ever heard about them. You can listen to them. You need to know to identify which types. You can do what are they called? Things like where you look at affirmations. Talk to yourself. The way you talk to yourself. I am loved. I am strong. You can achieve this. You can do this. Like talk to yourself. You slowly by slowly rewiring the things that you've had. Remember, when somebody told you the word that you cannot be successful, it was not printed somewhere that is the truth, but your brain took it as the truth. So even telling yourself these things over and over again, your brain takes them as the truth. The other last thing, why it's so hard to live, dependency. You're dependent on this person, be it financially, emotionally. Why are you depending on your man? Or why is it that you feel like you cannot live without him? Maybe it's because he is the sole breadwinner. And this also comes down to the whole aspect of what can you do? This is why I said, I don't know if some of you have been to the other masterclass of how to walk out of a toxic relationship. That is where we deal with the whole dependency thing. Is it that your income is not enough? How can you supplement it? Can you open a side job or what you call side hustles? Can you open another account and start saving some more? When you decide to walk out, there's normally so many things that you need to put into focus. If you do not want to struggle or you do not want to go back there. Otherwise, if you're not ready, and as women, let me just say as women because you're all women here, you need to actually be a step ahead. And women walk out emotionally because before they even walk out physically. That is a known fact. The other thing is that you as a woman, you have the capacity to know that you're not just living for you, you're also living for your children. So before you make any decision, please really think long and hard about it. Don't make it from a point of impulse. Don't make it from a point of I'm just going to do this so that he will see that he cannot live without me. Before you make that choice, you need to be very sure about why you're making it. It's not about this person, it should be about you. So there are many other questions that you need to ask yourself, but mostly this is the major question, the major thing that you put into focus. It's about you, not anybody else, not your children, not your family, not your friends. Yeah. Let me first of all just come to the questions before I go to the next slide. Why is it? Okay, both goes through. Those ones I will address them at the very end. Jacqueline, you say, wow, no more fear. What if good things happen to me? Absolutely. What if good things happen to you? And they will happen to you. The way let me tell you, I don't know. I wish I would have looked for that piece of paper. And I will be addressing that in the very last slide, which is a bonus slide of dating. Every single thing that you want, it is not witchcraft. It is not the mambo jumbo that you hear. It is actually true. Manifesting and wanting good for you and your energy, it's going to play a huge role into the things that we want in our lives. Yeah. Yeah. I will still come back to the questions. Let me first move on because people who are almost going to sleep, I want to cover this, how to be able to move on. Because this is a second other question that I'm asked a lot. And I know some of you even asked me about it. And I said I'd cover it today. How do you move on? For people who have said that they're dealing with a heartbreak, for people who are saying that they cannot get over their exes, because for you to be able to move on, or to find love, you need to be able to move on. It's not just about living, it's about living and moving on. You can live. In 2019, I left. 6 months later, I went back. So you can live and not be able to move on. So how do you live and actually move on is what you're talking about today. So first of all, you need to feel the emotions. There's so many emotions that comes with living a relationship. There's anger, there is sadness. You'll get to start bargaining. What if he did things differently? What if I did things differently? Would I have saved the relationship? Would I have maybe make it work? Would I have been able to salvage it? You'll ask yourself so many questions. And before anything, just need to feel all of it. When sometimes you feel like crying, cry. When sometimes you feel the pain, because you mourn for it. It is a relationship. It is like mourning a person. You have lost a part of yourself. It was a part of me that I had lost. 10 years investing in someone is not just 10 years. Whether it's an year, whether it is a month, that is an investment that you have made. Mourn for your relationship. Take time to stop, first of all, and feel these emotions. You jumping from a relationship to the next one will ensure that you've actually not moved on. And that is what I did in 2019. And those are the lessons that I took. Moving on, I thought that I could move on and actually get into another relationship ASAP. I did not have time to, first of all, understand why have I, and this is going to come here in reevaluation, why have I left the other relationship? Was the problem them or me? And if it was them, how were they the problem? If it is me, how am I the problem? What do I need to work on? These are things that you do not address when you just hop into the next relationship. And I dated. And let me tell you the things that I saw. I talk about the character development in Nairobi. It is crazy. I got to a point where I told myself, better the devil I know. And just like that, that is how I went back to the other relationship. And when you go back, let's be honest, it's worse than you left it. So feel the emotions, whatever they are, whether it's anger, whether it's sadness. There will even be a time when you do not even want to talk to anyone, even your friends, and they mean well and they are there and they want to support you and to love you. They will not want to even, you will not even want to have anything to do with them. So be there, feel the emotions. Talk to a person. This is the second option. Have a support system. Have that one friend that you can call. I remember there will be times like in other relationships that I've left, because this is, even in terms of relationships, it's not just a marriage or a major relationship. You want to leave someone and you know they're not good for you. Have a support system. Every time you feel like you want to talk to this person, call up this friend. Tell them, hey, I need, and this also comes to coaches or therapists. Talk to them. When you feel like you're almost losing yourself or losing your mind, because that comes in a lot. When you're facing a breakup, it's a very tough time. Support system will be there for you. They will remind you the why. There have been people that I have left and I have thought at that particular moment when you're bargaining with yourself. But then we talk to your friend or somebody who knows the kind of situation that you're in, and they ask you a question and you're like, hey, yeah, I remember. Because momentarily you can forget why you left this person in the first place. Have a support system. Even whether it is coaching, like for my coaching or in the coaching that I'm in, and I will talk about it later, it's a community. It's like here, when you are many of us, when you talk right now, as you're sharing, as you're talking right now, what is happening is that we'll even hear other people who are also going through a lot of stuff, crazier stuff than you, and to remind, yeah, even this person used to be like this, like this. Oh, okay. I deserve better. You'll hear somebody else also talk about having better into their lives, and you will realize, okay, this is not good for me. This is why I need to stay away from this person. So a support system is very important. And let me just say something else about support system. It has to be a support system that is actually supportive. Don't go to family and friends. People who you know will be judging you. People who you know will be telling you, oh, all men are like that. Not all men are like that. And I will tell you this for a fact. Not all men are abusive. Not all men are toxic. That men who can be, but a man who is abusive means that he has no control over his emotions. He has no control even over himself and what he does. That is why he'll be blaming you. You know, you are the one who forced me to do this. A healthy man will be able to control his impulses, his emotions. He has his emotions in check and he owns up to his mistakes. Yeah. Another thing is self-care. Self-care, you have to prioritize self-care. When you say, this is my time, I need to know who I am, I need to love myself, look into the basic of what do you usually love doing? For me, either it's driving, it's makeup, is it shopping? What is it about you? That is what you concentrate on. That is what you look into. So make self-care a priority at this particular, especially at that particular moment. Let it be a very important priority in your life. Don't skip doing your nails, don't skip doing your makeup, don't skip doing it. Is the little things that will actually make you bounce back faster. Yeah. And then reevaluate. I think I just touched on it. Look into what is it about this relationship? What is it about me? What do I need to work on? Because you will get someone, you will get who you are. We attract who we are. And let me tell you, that is the secret. This is the secret. You only attract who you are. If you're broken, you'll find broken. Look into the patterns. What are the patterns? During that time, and even during the time when I walked out of the relationship, I was dating. But I realized that there's something about these people. I don't know whether you guys have actually been able to pick up on your type. There is a type. Everyone has a type. Ask yourself, why is this my type? My type used to be these men who would come to me needing help. These people, and I remember even, and we'll talk about dating as a bonus slide. Who is your type? Yeah, you really need to understand that. And why are they your type? Because your type is your pattern. Maybe you have been dating men who like for you to build them. I remember I used to think I'm empathetic. I have a lot of empathy for people. I have a lot of love for people. This is why I'm getting people who need my support. My friend, those people will just come and use you and take from you. They're not healthy and also not healthy. Why? And this whole thing of you wanting to help is actually you concealing the fact that there's a part of you that you need to work on, whereby you're getting people who are attracted to you and they just want to take because you have in you something that you need to address. Normally, the people in your life actually say more about you than they say about themselves. They can be who they are. They can be toxic, they can be unhealthy, they can be mature, they can be takers. But why is it you? Imagine in this world with millions and millions of men, why is it you that they can see? Yeah. And I see I have a lot of exactly the fixer, Bob the builder. That used to be me. I will talk about it when it comes to dating. Playing savior, absolutely. I remember let me just talk about it because you're already here. There was a guy that I got from this dating app, and we'll talk about dating and how and all those things. And somehow he was a man that would tell me no one is talking to him. And I felt so bad for him. And I kept him around for a while thinking everyone else does not want to talk to him, but he did not have a job. And it had to sink in to me. And that is when I realized, oh, it's my pattern. I attract these sorts of people. I used to ask my friends before, do I look rich? Why am I only getting men around me who look at me like I have $1 million so I can help them out? And it's not just me. I know that we have so many of us as women here who look up to you and they think, Mara, they're telling you their kids are not okay. If you're dating, Abby, welcome. BT, you're saying for me, I was trying to impress so that I can fit in. That is still Bob the Builder. You're doing everything. You even find yourself paying school fees. I know somebody has told me they have paid school fees for the men in their life. It happens. You might even pay rent. You might even buy shopping. And this is a pattern. That was my pattern. So when you're moving on or how to move on, ask yourself, what is your pattern? Yeah. Exactly. Yes, Ruth. You say, see the men around you that you're trying to fix. It's normally not about them. It's about you. When I looked back at me, what did I see? I had very shaky boundaries. I had things about me in my life that needed my attention. And it was only then And you will even go to the dating pool because we'll talk about dating. You'll even go into the dating pool. And there are very wonderful, healthy men out there. And they are amazing men, and you'll be hearing people who have found husbands and good men in their lives. And you're like, and these dating apps are full of men who just want to use you. Why? It's because you're attracting this sort of people. I used to be there. I got all these sort of people. But finally, when I got it right, when I worked on myself, I was able to get men who will treat me like queens, who will put me as a priority, who are no longer after what I have. And even I didn't have much, but they would want to take. So it's only after you do the work that you'll be able to see that you'll not be Bob the Builder. We have been there, done that. So that means you really have to look at yourself. It's no longer about them. They are permitted to be who they are. Yeah. And then create goals. Create goals. This is how you move on. Create goals and keep them. For me, the first thing was to look at where are you? And this is why I asked here, which different phases are you at? Look at the small achievable goals that you can be able to achieve. I remember for me back then, it would maybe be don't even make very long-term goals. Even let it be even for a week. Yeah, especially when you're having a hard time, you feel like the heartbreak has stopped your life. It can just be having a shower. It can be making your bed. It can be cooking a meal, just something small. And then now let it go maybe to a week. Let it be maybe you're going to go see a friend. You can go out for lunch. You incorporate these small things. Then you go to a month. What do I want to get done in this month? For me, and for those who don't know, I have a YouTube channel. My successful goal for the month included things like doing my YouTube videos for the month, maybe a masterclass in a month, maybe this and this. And at the end of it, I will feel very fulfilled. So as much as you might feel like you want to fall apart, your goals will keep you in check. They will keep you thinking, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. If it's a job, what does it require of you, this job? Then discover yourself, because most relationships, or specifically toxic relationships, you will lose yourself. You have lost yourself along the way somewhere. So how do you discover yourself? Sitting down and asking yourself, me as Jacinta, what is important to me? What are the things that make me happy? It can even be taking a walk. Is it ice cream? Is it sitting back and watching Netflix? Maybe chill days or chill nights, maybe once a day or once a week. Look into those things. For me, I came to discover that I loved road trips. Those have been my road trips and loud music. That was my go-to thing. So what is it for you? What works for you? What do you love doing? Look at that. And then give yourself time. Give yourself time. Know that it took you a lot of time for you to be in that relationship. It took you so much. You give so much, not just physically, emotionally, what. Give yourself grace. For me, it might have taken me 2 years. For you, it can take you 7 years or even 5 years. And it's okay. I wish I had some of my friends who I know, who I looked up to. Some of them took all the way even up to 10 years to move on. Moving on doesn't have a specific time frame. And I'm hoping that I'm answering this as a question to someone who had DM'd me. They asked me, how long did it take me? For me, it took me less than 2 years. For somebody else, it can take even months, but it's not in the time. The trick is it's not in the time. It is usually in the effort that you put in. The effort that you put into moving on, the effort that you put into healing, that will be the game changer to your story. Some of you might discover this or might hear this after 2 years or after a year or immediately after you've walked out. For me, at least, I had it before I even walked out of a relationship. So that is how I was able to start my healing journey. I started it when I was still in a relationship. And that is something that I advise everyone who is here and they're still in a relationship and they want to leave. Start now. Start planning now. Start coaching program now. Start your therapy now. Start working on your exit right now and your healing, and you can do it. Ideally, you're not supposed to do it when you're in a relationship, especially when you have left. You take something called a heart sabbatical. A heart sabbatical is where you just focus on you. You're dating yourself. You're rediscovering yourself. But if you're in a relationship, especially a marriage, then it starts now at this particular moment, because that is what is going to give you the grace and the push and the energy to be able to walk out. So I'm hoping all is not in time. Yes, it is not in time. Time will never heal all wounds. That's the biggest misconception that you have been told. Time does not heal. It is what you do with that time. So there's no specific time. The other thing that if you're in this phase and you feel like, I would just like to hear if you have maybe a question about moving on, because that is covered. I feel like I have covered a lot, most. But if you have a question on moving on, let me know. We still have other slides to go. Yeah, let me read. Been married for 24 years, mother of 5. I've tried to save, paid everything. Sherlock debts. I have stayed for my children, but I feel it's enough. I'm 57. Let me tell you the other thing. When you're in a relationship, that is the focus that you have. That is where all your energy goes. The minute that, and like I said in the beginning, I don't know if you are here, or not. Most of the people in my class are people are women in their late 40s and 50s. Because at this particular time, you realize that your kids are gone. You realize that you have done so much to make them happy and to keep them together. And sadly, they are not even happy, first of all. I have had mothers who have told me how their marriages have affected their kids. We've said that being in a toxic relationship is like being in a burning house. Thinking that your kids will not get affected by the fumes. They do get affected. They're never the same. It's never the same. Let's be very honest. These kids will have trauma for life. They can heal from them through therapy, but some of them, they work through it over the years. But the best thing that you can do, and even what makes children happy and even contented, is a happy mother. And when you're busy, like you say, even including in my case, I realized that I was not able even to ask my children, how are you doing? How are you feeling? How are you faring? These are things that I only asked them when I was single, when I was out of that relationship. So when you're so busy concentrating on the marriage, you miss out on all the other windows. You have so many opportunities in your life, but you don't see them. Why don't we see them? Because you're busy focused on this one door. The door is the relationship, the toxic relationship that I'm in. But I asked myself, and this is even another thing that helped me to move on. What if this person passed on today? I would take over the responsibility of my children. Whether I have a job or not, I would find a way to raise them. Are we right or are we wrong? Yeah, true or not true? Just comment. Tell me what you think. If you are left and you are in a relationship right now and you're staying because you think this person supports you financially, what if he passed on today? Would you take care of those 2 kids, or would you not be able to afford taking care of them? You will find a way. Why? Because at that particular time, every energy will be focused on you looking for a way forward. And this is what happens when you're single. Yeah? Thank you. True. Very true. That is what happens when you're single. Your focus no longer is in the relationship and this man and what he's doing or not doing, whether he's working or not working, how he's abusing you or not abusing you. You now focus on you. How can I be happier? How do I look? Is there anything that I can enhance to look better? What about my business? I need to make more money. How can I do that? And you will see that only after you have been able to walk out, or even when you're in that relationship. That's why I've said you need to be working for it even before you leave. But if you have left, then these are the things that you need to start concentrating on. This is all part of moving on. You close that door completely so that you can be able to see this other open door. It is always there. Yeah. And you say, what makes people attract men that are needy, time wasters, and what really makes a woman spend on men? Giving the little they have and feel like they need to take care of, and not seeing that red flags. And if you've had me, I was in that very same situation. I would have given anything that I felt, not even the men, even give even to even family, to your siblings. You give the little that you have, thinking that you're doing good, thinking that you're just a loving person or a helpful person. But the truth is, you have work that you need to do on you. There's something called codependency. Codependency is the opposite of empathy. An empathetic person, let me just give one example. There are many differences between an empathetic person and a codependent person. An empathetic person has boundaries. I will not give what I cannot afford. I will not give what I do not have. I can hear your problems, and I feel for you. I feel the pain that you're feeling, but I do not let it affect me. But a codependent person will take your baggage as their own baggage. Your problem becomes my problem. I would rather even take a loan and satisfy you. There's normally a problem called codependency. It comes along attached with so many things like your boundaries. How are they? They must be very shaky to zero boundaries. So there's something that is where you come in. It is not about them, it is about you. There's things about you that you need to address. All this that I'm talking about, codependency, boundaries, there are a whole bunch of things. That is what you call shadow work. That is what it means to work on you. Those are things that you need to have to equip yourself to understand, kumbe, I should not be borrowing money to pay for people's loans. Kumbe, my brother I do not always have to be there even for my brother, for my man, for all these men. These people can smell like toxic men. They can smell people without boundaries. They can smell people who are codependent. And even the word codependency, where it came from, it was a condition that was given to during the World War there, where they used to treat alcoholics. The alcoholics will be treated and like they will go to a rehab. And then when they were discharged, somehow they would still come back. So the nurses and the doctors noticed that there's something not happening. There's something not working out. They decided to look into the people around them. These people around them, they were the ones who were given the term codependent. Because when I see someone suffering, like they're suffering, they have an alcoholic problem. It is painful, especially to withdraw. It is painful. So to take away their pain, I give them the alcohol. But am I really helping them? I'm not helping them. What I'm doing is I'm enabling them. So become the enabler, but I'm the codependent. I'm sick. That is a condition. You're sick, but you do not actually know that you're sick. And it comes in when you come into contact with these people, straight even from your childhood, such things. This is what is called shadow work. This is what part of healing and doing the work on you entails. This is what I had to learn. This is what the secret is. This is what you do in that time when you're waiting. It is the work that you need to put in. Yeah. Let me go into the other slide. No, time is really flying. Thought we'd skip it strictly for an hour because I know some of you have work tomorrow. But let me finish this and then we can still keep the questions coming in the chat. The other thing is accepting a change. How do you accept change? Because you have left the relationship, you have moved on. How do you accept that this is the new you? How do you accept that this is your life now? And somebody has asked a question before when I was asking, what are you hoping to learn? You said that you would like to learn how to do what? How to be single. So how do I accept now I have left that relationship and I am single? And how do I even enjoy where I am as a single woman or as a single mom or even as a married person now where I'm in right now? You look for the silver lining. This is now after you've walked out, you've moved on, now you're accepting change. You look for the silver lining. What is a silver lining? It is the positivity. What is the positive in this? For me, it was looking around and thinking, I've never been single. I was 19 when I got into a relationship. I've never been single. What does it entail? What are the good things about being single? You can even Google. What is the positive things about? Remember I said about your energy. Remain positive. And that is also the second thing. Remain positive. Your energy is going to really do wonders when it comes to everything in life. Positivity and your energy. Look at the positive. If you look for the negatives, believe me, you don't even have to look far. They will always be there. As human, we are wired to see more of the negative than the positive. So how about looking at the positive in your circumstances, where you are? And with that also comes something called a gratitude journal, or just doing something like an exercise, just writing what you're grateful for. Today, if you're in this class, and you feel like nothing is working for you, how about just writing 5 things that you're grateful for today? They can look like the normal things. You're like, I'm alive, but I didn't. At some point, it's so hard to even be happy that you're alive. But look at the other things. Maybe you have children. Maybe you might not have this relationship or whatever, that marriage that you wanted to be in, but you're healthy. You can look at it. I'm beautiful. What is it? What is it about where you are right now? You are even able to just eat for today. The house that you're in, you're probably in other debts, but you've been able to even pay the house rent for that day. So look at the positives of where you are. If you're a single woman, it means you can have any man. You are back to zero. You can choose again. That was, for me, was the biggest thing that I was really happy about. I was looking at it like, now I am back in the field. It means that I can have anybody that I want. I can decide to go to Hollywood, get a man from there, get a man with six-pack, get this or this or this. So there will always be something positive about where you are. Whatever, no matter how negative the circumstance is, remain positive. And another thing that you need to note is that everything is working for you, whether you see it or you don't. Some things you have to step back to look back and actually realize it was all working for me. I came to realize that everything that I went through, that relationship was teaching me a lesson. It was teaching me what I'm now able to talk to you. Imagine if I did go through it. Some of you, your lives will change from this conversation only. It changed for me. I remember I went into this masterclass and I had this lady talk, and the way I was thinking totally changed. So if I did not go through what I went through, I will not be here to tell you this today. So everything that you're going through, you might not see it now, but 10, 20 years down the line, you will see it. Even everything that I went through prepared me for my now husband. If I had not gone through it, believe you me, the odds of me meeting him was 0.001. I would never have met him. The other thing is accept the reality over what could have been. At this time, sometimes, I know for a fact, when you're single, sometimes it's so easy to think, if I was with my ex, right now we could be doing this, or we could have done this. Maybe you see some other couples, they have moved on with their lives. They have maybe gone into construction. They have maybe even raised up a flat, and you're thinking, we could have done the same. But what is the truth? The truth is that you could have, but have you? And this is something that also keeps you stuck in the relationship. What is your reality? Your reality is that this person is abusive towards you. It's not good for you. It's not good for your children. But you're there thinking, but he can become better. He can change. That will keep you stuck, and it will keep you hurting, especially when you're here trying to accept the change. You're here trying to accept, I have let go and I now need to move on. So please accept the reality over the fantasy that you had. Maybe you had thought that you'd grow old with this person. You had thought that you'd watch your kids graduate. You had thought that maybe you'd be with him and as you walk the kids down the aisle, but that is not the truth. The truth is, he's not good for you, or you have already left that phase. This is where you are. So why do you move on from there? Then create a plan, priorities. For me, my priority was how it was, like, in order. Is it your career? Is it your relationship? If you're struggling financially, it might be a career. You might want to get your finances in order before you go for a relationship. Why? That will ensure that you're not in a relationship you're not out of what is it called? Which is the best one? Like, you're not going into a relationship to escape your problems, because that will make you feel like you don't have choices. Actually, you don't have choices. You just go for the first person who maybe has money. But if you have a good you're in a good financial space. Yes, out of desperation, exactly. Thank you. If you're in a good space financially, you'll be very choosy, and you'll only go for what is best for you. It will not just be, you will not be big Misha. You will not be land for the first person. You'll have time to, evaluate and reevaluate and settle for the very best. And always, if you can vet people like, you don't just go for the first career that you see. when you learn it, when you have a degree, a master's, you are at liberty to choose whichever even company that you want. But when you have no education, then you can pick whatever job that is handed to you. That is the same way even when it comes to what you're looking for. If it's in a relationship and you're not doing well financially, you might want to deal with that. And still, some of us are go-getters more in career than in relationships. So after you have moved on, after you have let go of that relationship, you're now at flat grounds. You're at grounds where you are now in a position to be able to choose what is most important to me now. Or you can decide, I want to go back to school. Go back to school. For me, the first few years were working on me. I intentionally went back to school. I intentionally wanted to study more. I intentionally decided to work on my career. That's when I launched my candle business. I intentionally did my books even before I went into the dating, because I felt deep down in my heart that I was not ready to date again. And because I did not want to get into a relationship that was going to hurt me, I decided, let me first work on these other things. And now, after that, that is now when I went into coaching to work with a coach on how to prepare me to be ready for a relationship. Yeah. So think about your priorities. Which ones are they? And then finally, okay, not finally, because we have another one. Live a day at a time. Living a day at a time means what? You do not have to worry about where will I be next year, because every time, like, things can change. It can take a 360 turn before you know it. Live a day at a time. That will also reduce the stress in your life. You not having to worry about, okay, Christmas is coming up. What will my family say if I show up without a man? What will this? No, you're here now. So many things can happen between now and Christmas. How do I deal with today? How do I deal with this week? How do I just deal with August as itself as a whole month? Yeah, work on that. And then the usual, prioritize self-care. Self-care, self-love, that's the biggest thing you can ever do for yourself. Self-care is under self-love, is an umbrella of self-love. Self-love is the biggest game changer in your life. When you have self-love, you have the boundaries, you know what is working for you, what is not working for you. When you've worked on your self-love, you have very good self-esteem. Confidence is very high. You know what is good for you. You know who you are as a person. You know your worth. You will not just settle for anyone and anything. So prioritize actually self-love, because self-care comes in self-love. Yeah. So that is it. Do you have any questions about that? I don't see any questions on that. Let me just go now into relationship goals. Now, this is moving on for the people who have said that they are single and they're ready to move on. Relationship goals. Before you even think about getting to a relationship, what are your values? What do you value? For me, it was things like consistency. That was huge for me. I was in a long distance relationship. So you can imagine having values like consistency. The way a person, consistency is how this person was behaving day one. Are they still behaving the same way in 2-3 months? That was huge for me, because I get triggered, and this comes as part of the self-love. You get to learn what are your triggers. I get triggered when someone is inconsistent. So I really was looking for a person who is very consistent. It first of all helps me, because every relationship either can bring out the worst in you or the best in you. But when you know yourself, you're able to go into a relationship that will not trigger you. In a relationship with a person who is going to know how to handle your demons, and you'll be able to handle their demons. Because everyone, you cannot get a perfect person. Everyone will have their own issues going on. So know your values. What do you look for? Are they family oriented? That for me was huge, because I'm also very family oriented over careers. There's somebody else who is a career oriented person, and they feel like, I do not want somebody who will tell me, let's start having kids. I just want a person who will tell me, let's build this, let's work on this. So those are your values. So get to understand yourself first. And this was in the accepting change, the self-love. With the self-love, then now you can start doing the relationship goals, so that you understand your values. Either they can match with this person, or they can be slightly different, but they need to work for you. That is the most important thing. The qualities in your future person or your future partner. I remember I had this, I went to this it was like a girls' meeting, and they were talking about the things that they would want in their lives. Like they said, let's write SMART goals, the way they say SMART, or specific, measurable, all that. The lady at the podium was talking about her goal is a BMW. She said white, what. I was writing about my man. That was in March last year. I was writing about my man. And I wish I had that card right here. Everything that I said about this man, the man came out as a copy paste, maybe apart from one or two. But I went very specific. I wanted him to look like this. He's built like this. I wanted him either to be dual citizen or not a Kenyan. I wanted him to have these sort of qualities. I wanted him to not have kids. That is my preference. What do you prefer? Everything that I had put there, it was not even something conscious where I was thinking, where I was going out on a date and thinking, okay, you do not fit into my card. No. But somehow I didn't. And I usually say even the very first date, I did not even know. I was totally done. I didn't even intend on going on a second date with him. But with time, I came to realize that this is my person. So all these things will help you in finding your person or moving on and finding love again. And then what are your negotiables or deal breakers? What are the things that you feel like? This is why I said, do not even accept to be somebody's girlfriend if you know you're waiting for them to change. If you find someone right now, he doesn't have a job and you're thinking, maybe they will get a job, or they're telling you, oh, I'm now actively looking for a job. What if they never get that job? What if they're not even looking for the job? So know right now, through the person that you have, that he's the person that you think you can spend your life with. If he's not, don't wait for them to change, because the probability of them changing is 50-50. And are you willing, especially if you've come from another relationship, to be with somebody again who you're not sure about? Remember, time is still ticking, and you are too valuable to be in a 50-50 kind of setup where you're not sure whether this person is for you or not. Yeah. So know what is it that you can put up with and what can you not put up with. For me, any sort of abuse, financial, physical, sexual, whatever, it is a deal breaker. That one you cannot discuss. And that is where boundaries come in. When you have boundaries, when you've done the self-love work, you have these boundaries, you know that this is a non-negotiable. So know what works for you and what doesn't. And finally, let go of your limiting beliefs. This was huge for me. Well, as much as you're going to try to figure out the qualities of your partner, remember there are also limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are like age. I thought that coming out of a relationship with 3 kids meant that I had to be in a relationship with maybe I thought either I would be a trophy wife to some older guy somewhere, but maybe he would love me better. But where does that come from? That is a limiting belief. That meant that if I found younger men who are younger, then subconsciously I would push them away because I had told myself only an older man can be able to take care of me. I also thought that maybe it had to be somebody who is also divorced with kids so that they could understand my kids as well. Blended families are not easy. And I also came to realize at the end of it all, this is why I'm saying some of you, your lives will change from here. There was this lady who came, that was my thinking. And I was going to therapy, and my therapist was asking me, Jacinta, does that mean that a single guy who doesn't have kids cannot love you now? I was like, I think so, but he might not be able to understand me, especially when it comes to being a father to my children. Maybe need somebody with kids. Then this lady came into this class and she talked about how she was dating this guy. He had by then just proposed, and he did not have kids, and she had 2 sons. And I was like, maybe that happens because the whole notion that I had in my head was a limiting belief. It's something that I picked up. It's something that society has made us believe. So be very careful. Yeah, Joy, you're laughing at me when I say older men. That's me with the divorces and older men. That is me, what I used to think. And that was a limiting belief. My man is in his late 30s. He doesn't have kids. I have 3 kids. He loves these kids dearly. The reason why I'm even here is because he took away my daughter. You know very well, childcare in US is crazy. He took my daughter. He had to take leave to come pick my daughter and take her to the park so that I could do this class here. So anyway, I have come to learn that you have to push these things away. Even things like nationality. You might be thinking, I will never marry, I don't like white people. They're not good for me. What if your man is a white man somewhere? Maybe you're thinking, it's Nigerian. I'm not judging anyone. I would never date a Nigerian man. What if the Nigerian man is your husband out there? So put yourself in a position that you do not have these limiting beliefs, because they might be the things that are standing between you and your future husband. He might be there waiting for you, but you cannot see him. Distance, I used to tell myself I would never do a long distance kind of relationship, because my love language, and that is part of knowing yourself and doing the work on yourself, you get to know yourself. My love language is touch. So imagine being in a relationship with that person who is not near you. So I used to think it was impossible until I shed off those limiting beliefs. So limiting beliefs are going to be an issue. You'd say, wow, that part of thinking it can only be divorcees will understand. Yes, that is a limiting belief. So limiting beliefs. If you have any limiting beliefs, please let me know in the chats. What is your limiting belief? Because we have picked things. These are things that we have had someone have been told to us. What are these things? Love languages are time and touch. Goodness, always said can do long distance. Please feel challenged, because you're in my shoes. For me, it was also the same way. It still is right now, but do not limit yourself, because that might be cutting the person that is for you from your life. They might actually be there. You might be looking at them in the dating sites and you just maybe cannot see them. So finally, this was the bonus, and I have actually touched on it. The bonus slide was on finding love again, because I will know this is a huge one in my DMs. Where can I find a good man? How can I date? And if you're not following me on YouTube, today I have released a video on dating as a single mom. Just pick on more pointers. I will not touch on everything here, but my page on YouTube is Jacinta Wangeshi still. Just listen to what I say about dating, especially as a single mom. Yeah. So dating, how do healthy men show up? Especially when you come from a toxic relationship, it can be hard to even be able to identify I'm working on them too. Yes, Carol, that will become a game changer, because some of these things are actually limiting us. They're crippling us. These people are here and they are good, and you might be saying no, and this is the person for you. And did I forget to say about height? Who here believes in the tall, handsome guy? Some of us are dating shorter men who will love you. Some are looking for they feel like they can only date a very handsome man. Maybe the man for you is the Sura personal. Never know. Let me know what you think on the chat. Yeah. So anyway, finding love again. Where do you find good men? Is there a specific location for finding good men? Let me tell you, there's no place that you cannot find a good man. A good man will be anywhere and everywhere. They are not just in churches. You can find one in a mall. I have even heard of women who frequent obituaries, and I'm not saying you do this, but I had heard of it. They frequent obituaries to just check the wealthy men who have lost their wives, show up there, console the man, and end up getting married to them. That was a story that I had. I'm not saying that everyone should do that. Tall, built, and dark. Exactly. That can be a limiting belief. Your man is your man. It's about how this person makes you feel and how he treats you. It's not about how he looks. These looks, are we going to eat them? Most of these very built, tall guys have nothing against looking good, but most of them, you'll find them maybe in the gym. Some of them don't even have jobs. Some of them, that is the only thing, because they know that is how they make up. But you'll be the one siphoning money into them. So is that a price you're willing to pay? Ask yourself that. Yeah. So that is a story that I had. I was talking about obituaries. Yes, I have had all the crazies. I used to say, Betty, nice to say I'm always attracted to light-skinned men, but there the ones who usually hurt me the most. That is a pattern. When you're dealing with patterns, look, that is a pattern that you have from distance relationship. For me, I feel challenged there. My friend, they are doable, especially with a person who is consistent. You do not even feel it. As long as you're committed and this person has made a commitment to you, first of all, do not get yourself off the market until someone is actually committed to you and has claimed you. Otherwise, you're still on the market. Obituaries, yes, they are there I had the story. So I'm just saying, this is why I'm just saying you can find good men anywhere. Those people chose to get them from funerals, obituaries. Some choose to go in churches, and it doesn't mean that simply because they go to church they're good people. Some find them in the malls, some at the airports. Some have said they only frequent in these places. My friend, a good man, will be anywhere. He can even be in the most vulgar places. He might be there with a friend or something. You just have to know, how do healthy men show up? How do they look like? Because that is something that you might not know. Some of us do not really have an idea of this at all, at all, at all. How do healthy men look like? Healthy men mostly will be the men, or we call them high value men. High value men mostly do not frequent things like social media. They're too busy. And even if they do, they will not be the men who are showing up biceps without the shirts and all that. I know I'm talking to someone here. What's your advice on attending singles to mingle session? Please go. This is this is another thing about dating. Spread your wings. Show up everywhere. Show up. You cannot. This is the only part where being an introvert does not apply. Show up. You're single. You're looking for something. And this whole thing of saying that love will find you when you least expect it, I totally disagree with that. Why? Because if you're looking for a job, you go to an interview, you find newspapers, you look. What makes you think that love will fall from up and find you where you are? You need to go look for it. Um, I will talk about dating specifically because these are the whole huge part of now finding good men and all that. But first of all, I was talking about quality, finding high value men. These are men with the values. I gave one thing that you not find them all over social media. They come in social media, they come in Facebook, but I don't know TikToks, I don't know what, I don't know they're posting there shirtless, nini. I would put a huge question mark if I found you not find a high value man there for doing such things. They might be there maybe for their businesses, they might be there maybe for what they do, but not posting all these crazy things that younger people are doing, or people who are losing directions. They come in the gym, maybe in the mornings or evening, but they're not spending all their time in the gyms. They can look good, smell good, but they're not obsessed about their looks. It's even in ways like, even where do they invite you? Does a man tell you even during the first date and they're like, why don't you come over to my house? That's not a high value man. High value man will treat you like a queen. They will ask you out on a proper date. It doesn't even have to be a proper date. It can even be something like coffee or something, but it will be something nice. You'll see this is a person, he's a gentleman. Mostly it's like an old school kind of gentleman. Yeah. So this is some of the things that I will just talk about finding love again, how healthy men show up. They listen to you. They will not be these people who are just talking about themselves and all these things. It will be a conversation, not a one-sided sort of conversation or an interrogation where they're asking you. And also something worth talking about is that you really need to be you need to be outspoken about the fact that you have a kid if you're a single mom. Don't hide that fact. The one for you will love you with all your flaws or whatever it is. And I've always said that kids are not a burden. They're actually a bundle of joy. So the right man will love you for who you are. State it out there. Dating. Is it a dating app? I highly recommend dating apps because I always say, for me, I know this is negotiable, especially for even in cases that you have seen Some people say they don't get nannies from bureaus. I personally used to get nannies from bureau because I used to feel like if someone has gone to the bureau, it means that they actually do know that they want a job. So the same for dating apps. But the same thing, in the same place, there are people who are looking for things like hookups, the people who are there with bad intentions. So it's for you to actually vet them out. It's for you to see through and do not, somebody is saying, I'm here for a hookup, nothing serious. Believe them. Don't go thinking that you can change this person. Oh, maybe I can go meet them up. We go out and then I'll convince them to change, to maybe love me. They won't. So please look, be open. Even if your friends tell you, let's go out, that is the time to say yes. Go out, dress up, look good. Remember, people don't walk around with x-rays. They do not see your heart. Your outwards will speak volumes for you before they can even want to talk to you, to look at, to hear what you have to say, to look at your inside. So that is what finding love is about. This, I just wanted to touch on that. And if you have questions, I'll still be looking at them. I see that time is really good. I did not think that we would be taking this long, but anyway. For those who are wondering how can I work together with them, I have a program called She Blossoms. Blossoming is like the way a flower blooms or opens up. You're already a flower, you're already lovely, you already have all these things inside you. When you saw me, if you would have seen me some 2-3 years ago, I was still me, but I was not this confident me. It took me working. It took me doing the work that I do in this program with other women for you to be able to reach your full potential, heal the wounds that you're saying, self-awareness, because this is key before you can even get to date. This will be key if you do not want to repeat the same pattern. Self-awareness. This is what we cover mainly. Healing to finally exiting strategy. You are there, you're still in the relationship, and you do not want to get stuck. You do not want to get to that point where you say, hey, I think better the devil I know. If you don't want to go back there, start the work when you're still in the relationship. If you're out of the relationship, you're the one hoping to get into that sort of relationship again. You're the one who's looking for a commitment with a person and you're wondering how do healthy men. I've just touched on a bit of it. It's deeper than that. It's more to that. There is a whole perception even of how unhealthy men show up, healthy men show up. There's the different varieties of men, immature men, they are the taker men, they're toxic men. There are so many types of these men. We get to cover them. It's also a community of other women, like the way we are here. It's where women, you can just come, tell me about how your week has been. Let me hear somebody else and how their week has been. They tried it this way, this is what they got. Rather than walking this journey alone, you get to find out that you're not the only one. I was through that journey. Somebody else will be walking with you. And you get to understand. Remember, if I came from the relationship and I found myself alone, I'll be thinking that I'm the problem. But what happens if you leave this relationship and you show up and there are other women supporting you, and then you can hear the stories are almost similar, and you can hear even stories of victory from these same women, then you get the push, you get to the acknowledgement that you're actually on the right track. So that is what the She Blossoms program is all about. It's 12 weeks. That means it's a 3 months, a 3-month sort of program. Yeah. And it starts in September. Yeah. The next intake is in September 22nd, meaning that October, November, December. Before you do December, you could be a totally whole new person. You could be ready to say yes. And I usually ask that you be ready to take a heart sabbatical if you're in a relationship, not a marriage or like a formal relationship where you have kids. That is why you're only permitted to be in a relationship. But if you're in this other relationship where you're dating a man for a month, you don't know whether he's in your life or not, take a hard sabbatical. This is entirely going to be about you. By the end of it, you're going to learn things that you never knew. You're going to see these things in a very different way. You'll be getting into dating very differently. And let me tell you, it is never the best thing that you can ever do is to invest in you. This is something that nobody can ever take from you. This is something that will always remain inside you. The lessons that I took, I'm still using them. up to date. There are the things that have led me, because it's one thing to find love. It's another thing to be able to actually accept it or receive it. We get into situations where one way or the other, you might have bumped into a healthy man in your life. If you're single there, you might have a healthy man in your life, but you did not know how to cope with it. So in the She Blossoms, you become the best version of yourself. You get to understand, how do I deal with these people? And here is my number, my WhatsApp number. And I only work with a very small group, because most of this work is very intimate. And it requires me to really be there. And that is what coaching is about, is a hold your hand. You have questions, you get access to me, to other community, to the amenities, and to other people who are there to be able to just grow. So I have limited slots. It's normally a very small class. I like to work with a small group. So if you're in this class, because I'll be sending this recording to other people who are not able to join. I had over 100 women who had signed up for this class. If you're willing and you're ready, this is for people who are here. There's a 10% discount on the price. But you have to text me on my WhatsApp. Just tell me that you're ready. And what I'll do is, we are going to have a discovery call. A discovery call is where I talk and just be able to gauge whether this program is for you. Remember, it's not for everyone. We are on different journeys here. So if you're here, you're ready, you're willing, and you really want to be a different version of you going into next year. I remember I did this work the end of 2022. That's when I did the work, and I told my coach, I'm ready to now start dating come next year. If you feel that 2025 is the year for you, I got into a relationship last year in July. I got married this year in July. 1 year gap. That's why I'm saying so many things can happen. I did the work. I started dating. I dated for what? For July is the 7th month. So that's when I met my now husband. And he proposed to me in November. That was 4 months down the line. That's when he proposed. And marriage was after an year. So it's not in the time, it's in the work that you do. If you feel like 2025, you want it to be the year for you, you're hoping that you'd want to find somebody for you, because that was something that I was looking for, my own person. Not a community husband. Some of us are in relationship with community husbands. Your own person, not a situationship, a relationship, and a committed relationship. Tell me that you're ready and text me on that number. We'll do a discovery call, find out whether this program is best fitted for you, and then we'll be able to sign you up. And that is it for today. So now I'm just going to go into the questions, and I'm going to stop sharing. Is everyone okay with that? I'm going to stop sharing, and I would also love to say a huge, huge thank you before I can go into the questions and see what everyone has been saying. A huge, huge thank you, because I know some people, just being here for almost 2 hours is not a joke. So thank you very much, ladies. I have seen one, maybe two. I have tried Badu, Africa, Afri introductions. There are very many dating apps out there. You just have to find one that works for you. Not even one. Why not being like 2 or 3? Just date. Get into a dating app. You don't have to get into paid ones. There is Bumble. There is OkCupid. Yeah, Carol, thank you very much even for being here with me. I really appreciate. Yes, I have mentioned, but a few. Try Bumble, try OkCupid. This places that I will get good men. Tinder, forget about it. It depends on what you're looking for, by the way. Some are just for how can someone join the program. I have put my number there, and I think my number is 0701-701. It's a Kenyan line, 720. I think I'm going to type it here in the My number is 0701 701 720, and I have limited slots. I like to work in small groups, so it's first come first served basis. Let's see what else. Yes, please text me on WhatsApp. Text me on WhatsApp. I've been hurt terribly. So whenever I'm approached, I push away. That's called an attachment. It's an attachment problem. And also, you need the healing part as well. So, Joy, I would really advise that if you can, please hop into the program. Let's learn, first of all, who you are as a person, things that in your life that have happened in the past that have made you even attract this sort of people, so that you stop, so that we end this cycle. Remember, if it has been happening, it's a pattern. This is why I said it's part of healing. You need to get into to just be able to identify. You need to identify what is your pattern. Why are you attracting this sort of people? Because there are both healthy and unhealthy men out there. So if you're attracting them, it means that you need to do some work on you. Yeah. Thank you so much, Abby. Yeah. What do you do when you're ghosted? When you're ghosted, ghosts leave, disappear. Why? If someone ghosts you, first of all, it means that they do not have the ability to be able to share with you, or to be able to even tell you that whatever the issues have been, you cannot mother a person. You cannot try and teach people how, or talk to people about how to behave. If they did not learn that, it's not your duty and responsibility to teach them. So what do? It means that it's time for you to leave, because most probably this is not a healthy person. Healthy people will communicate with you. They will not ghost you. They will tell you about what is not working and what is working. So this, and mostly they will not be playing games, because there are some who play games. These are sort of games where they are trying to live to see whether you go back after them. As women, and especially if you have if you have not done the work on you, you'll be tempted to push to also pull to get back into that game with them. Try and reach out, to try and ask them what is wrong, to try and get to the root of it. Well, that is a game. It becomes now it now gets into the chasing mode, where you're the one doing the chasing, where you're the one who's trying to reach out to them. You don't do that, because this is a game, and you're way too valuable to be doing this sort of games with men. There are men who will not let you do the chasing. A healthy man will be the one to actually love you, treat you like a queen. How do you treat a queen? She's laid back, the man does all the work, and he knows what he has, and you're good and you're valuable. That is something that people sometimes, especially as women, and when you have not done the work or you do not know your value, you may feel like this was the one for you. The one for you will not require for you to do the chasing. Yeah. And that is an unhealthy man. Healthy men know how to communicate. Christine, thank you, Jacinta, for your time. Talk to us and encouraging us. God bless. You're most welcome, Christine. Agnes. Hi, Agnes. Mine is not a question, but I really want to appreciate you for the good work. Women awareness is very important. Personally, I'm married, a mom of 4. With the challenges, if the husband is not supportive, then at least the pressure decreases. Married of 4. With challenges, if husband is supportive, and at least that decreases. Absolutely. So proud of you, girlfriend. Thank you so much, Agnes. Absolutely. You have a good man and a healthy man in your life. And we should celebrate these men when they're in our lives. Not so many of us have that. I know you for a fact, Agnes, and with your 4 kids, you still have had time to go to school. The man has been supportive with that. That means that he's a very healthy man. An unhealthy man would feel threatened by that, and that is just to touch on the differences between a healthy and unhealthy man. Believe you me, you have a good person, because for somebody who has had a man who is toxic in their lives, they do not want you to move forward. They do not want you to better yourself. So if a man can let you be who you are in your element, like I've said, mine took my younger baby. They went to the park. He had to take time off from work. He really pushed me to do this, even though I was wondering whether I'm really ready to do this with all the changes happening in my life. So I do know that I have a healthy man in my life. And when they show up, we clap for them. And the other thing that you can do is just be the best version of yourself. But thank you, Agnes. Purity, thank you so much, especially for showing women that they can walk out of toxic marriages and be happy. Breaks my heart when I see my friends suffering or putting themselves married for Vumilia. That's a limiting belief, and you're very right. There's nothing like Vumilia. What are you Vumiliaring? Believe you me, if this man was Vumiliaring, he would not be there with you. We have had, and if they can look for options, it means that you're not good enough for them. Marriages are not they're not suffering institutions. You cannot, I'm sure God did not bring us into this beautiful world to spend our years, which are so priceless. And there's something that we don't even know whether you're going to be in this earth for 80 or 50 or 30 years. And then during your last days, that's when I hear, please mute yourself. There's somebody who has unmuted. I hear your life flashes before your eyes, and you're left with so much regret. Like, I could have done this, I could have done that. No. We don't have Vumilia in marriages. Yeah, that's a limiting belief. And thank you, Purity. Mogure, thank you. Jacinta, thank you. Betsy, now I know better. Thank you for opening your eyes. You're most welcome, and that's very true. The more you do this work, the more you actually see and realize, like I said, some of us, you may never ever get to that part where you're working with me, but this might be the turning point of how you think and how you see things. Like I've said, it was also, that is how it also happened for me. Betty, you please mute. That is how it also happened for me. It also started as somebody just coming into these sessions and telling me something like what I'm telling you, that you don't have to settle, that there is more to this life and there is more in life. And it's turned out to be very true. So if you're here listening and you were in that point where you're thinking, maybe I don't deserve better, or maybe I cannot walk out and be better, believe you me, it might be limiting you, and it is very true, very untrue. You can be better. It doesn't matter what age you're at. It doesn't matter whether in your 40s. You have a whole life ahead. Do you know, I went to church and I met this lady. She's a fiance. She's getting married in September. She's a fiance to another man who is a church elder in the church that I'm going to here in the US. And she told me her firstborn daughter is 37, her children, that because she only has one child. She's 37 and she's a fiance. And so I got to ask her. And she's not the only one, because I also met another lady who is saying she's the girlfriend to an older guy. This guy is in his 60s. This lady is calling herself the girlfriend to this man. And I looked at her and I was like, how is that even possible? She told me life doesn't stop. It keeps going. So this woman is in her late 50s. The one who is getting married next year is I don't know her age. I didn't ask her age, but from her telling me that her kid is 37, so I know she's definitely in her 50s. And she's getting married again. So it happens. People move on. And especially over here, we have come to see people are more, the society does not really limit them. So keep doing the work before you can even say that you're praying. Do the work. Do what needs to be done. And then from there, now you can say, now I'm praying for a good man. But it has to start from somewhere. It has to start from you.